when I went through reading the Bible, right, the entire time, like, I'm looking for answers, dog. Like, and so I'm doing all this shit because I have all these people that are rooting for me, right, and all these Christians that are like, do this and and I'm sharing my experience, and so a lot of the time I'm praying as I'm reading the Bible.
Yeah, that's good.
And I'm doing anything. Like, there's like, pray like this, think like this. And sometimes they're like, just be still and listen. And so I'm trying all this shit to try to hear God or try to get an insight or trying to see what the hell is going on. Like, get a tip or a hint or something, right? And that makes me go, oh shit, like whatever. And I just got like the most resounding silence, bro. And I was on this shit for a year, bro. And I'm praying forever. And I'm praying morning and night sometimes. I'm doing all this. And I don't hear a thing. I get nothing. And I remember one time, there was one moment I had, if one moment stuck out. And it was that I was like, why am I getting nothing, right? Like, why am I freaking getting nothing? Why won't God talk to me? Or why can't I get an inkling of like what direction to go, like, or like anything? And I just had this thought, like, the only thing I heard was just like, cause this isn't it. Like, this isn't the answer. Like, this isn't the thing. And I, at a similar time, got into this, started seeing this type of content and certain philosophies crop up in my YouTube and Instagram and shit, of this idea of oneness and of God being consciousness and this oneness that everyone's connected to, and this kind of philosophy. And it really resonated with me. And this idea of God being consciousness. So all that to say, when you ask me, when do I feel the closest to God? It's some version of a very concentrated conscious experience, whether that's like, I've had some crazy experiences on psychedelic drugs, where I would say there's some level of like that experience being like, this is more real and like more close to what's real than anything I've ever experienced.
More
and
real
also,
than real.
Exactly. And some maybe deep meditations or flow states when I'm making music. Like, there's been times in music where I feel like just connected to source, where I'm just like, I plug my shit into like source somehow and it's like coming through. Like, there's some times like that I would say. But yeah, that's what I would say. But anyways, that's my answer. So I'm sorry that was long-winded.
No, I love that. Yeah, it's because it's like, I mean, I heard this quote, and you know, I'm gonna totally butcher it, but it was God decided to speak to me in flowers, but I almost missed it because I was looking for words. You know, and that's such a beautiful thing, because it's like you're praying to God, and you're expecting some kind of words back. That's what I expected when I was young, right? I thought God will literally speak to me, right? But when you're like at the top of a mountain and it's sunset and you're looking at that, and it's like, you know, it's you feel that presence, you know, within yourself when you're looking at that. And I don't know what that presence is, but there's not really a whole lot of better ways to describe it than God.
Yeah. I would totally agree with you, bro. It's so funny you say that, because the thing about the flower, because I just, I had a studio session today, and a lot of the music I wrote this year, interesting enough, I decided to do a music Sabbath on Sundays, because when I read about the Sabbath in the Old Testament, I was like, oh, there's something here about leaving a day aside. So I would do music. And then a lot of the days I would do music on Sundays, I was frustrated or like writing about shit I was thinking about with the Bible. Anyways, the song I was working on today, it's funny. It's literally about this concept, and the lyrics are, what if knowledge is more like a flower than it is like hard facts, than like Harvard, than like power. And it's this idea about like,
I love that.
It's like, it's so funny, because I made these lyrics and made this song, like, it's shit I could never put to words. And that's kind of what the song's about, you know? And, you know, I think that's true, where it's like, there is something transcendent and obvious about the fact that there just is experience, right? You just look at your hand and you just go, holy shit, like being a person, like, oh my God, like you freaking smoke some weed and lay on your bed and you like feel your blood going through your body and you're like, I'm like, what am I? Like, this is amazing. And, you know, and so I get what you're saying. What I don't get is how to, I don't get the exact through line from that to the Bible, right? And this Christian idea, right? Because here's the thing. I think we would have if you continue reading the Bible, we would have a really interesting conversation, because after the Gospels, right, it's all this drama, right, where the apostles are going out and they're trying to start churches and they're trying to like argue about shit, right, where some churches think this and some churches say that, and all these different ideas and theology like evolves and develop, and you see it start to flower. And it's like, I think the reason that happened is because people want to know how to live, and they want to know what really matters, and they want to know what things really mean. And that's how I feel. And so I look at the sunset and I go, damn, like this is crazy. And I just am a part of the world, like, you know, and that's amazing. But I still wonder about what really is going on, and like heaven and hell. And I'm like, when you die, what's gonna happen, you know? And like, what does it matter what you do on earth when you die? And like these questions of salvation and faith, and like when I think of having faith, I'm like, in what, you know, like specifically, like what am I supposed to even believe? And you know, it's crazy. And so I wonder, you know, to throw the question back at you, when you have that experience, whenever you feel like you experience God the most, whether that's a sunset or whatever, I would love to know what it is. What do you do with that? You know?
Yeah, it's not necessarily what I do with it, right? It's like, obviously you feel something that's higher than yourself, but it's also like, how do I get that again? You know? How do I feel that again? And it's not by drinking yourself to death. It's not by being angry. It's not by being anxious all day long. You know, it's not by like so many things. And I strive to feel that way again, you know, and there's so many things that pull you away from feeling close to that. And like, I like to call it the shadows of God almost. It's like, as a mortal, as a being, as a person, it's like, I can't have the full experience of God, because like, I mean, like you said, what was it, like Exodus chapter 2, like if you see God you die or something. It's like, it's so much glory, it's like you die. And I mean, you could interpret that as like you die and then you get resurrected, right? But it's like, as a human, it's like a mere mortal that doesn't have all the knowledge. We don't have all the ideas. It's like we see the shadows, like the little glimmerings and the glistenings and the hints of God, or of something that's beautiful, something that's beyond beauty, that's beyond this world, right? And it's a matter of like, how do I align my life, or align the things in my life to where I can have that as much as possible? It's like, and it's not just because like a lot of people think, well, how do I have eternal bliss? And they think of eternal as a timeline, right? In the same way where you think of the all-powerful God as someone that can do anything. We think of the eternal as this timeline of, oh, we'll live forever after death. But when I think of eternal life, like the eternal life that Jesus gives you, I think of it more so in the terms of like infinite life, where you're transported to this place temporarily, but in that temporary moment, it feels like an eternity of bliss, right? An eternity of bliss is transferred to one single moment. And that's what I feel like when I hear giving eternal life. That's what I think of, that it's an encounter with the divine, an encounter with something that's so beyond you, so much greater than you, that it's an entire eternity of bliss transferred into one moment. Just like an eternity of suffering can be transferred into one moment.